I am part of the whole, all of which is governed by nature. I am intimately related to all parts, which are of the same kind as myself. If I remember these two things, I cannot be discontented with anything that arises out of the whole, because I am connected to the whole. That is from the Meditations of Marcus Aurelius, emperor of the first century of Rome. And it got me thinking, or it reminded me of the readings from the 23rd of January. I want to read you something else here. I had a personal experience early in my life that left an enduring impression on me. It was the first spiritual experience I can clearly remember. And it happened when I was 5 years old. The summer before I was in elementary school. I was playing by myself in the side of the yard on a hot summer day in Florida. I had just come home from spending a morning in the children's program at my family's church. The program featured stories of Jesus, art projects involving Jesus, and songs of the quote-unquote Jesus Loves Me variety. There was a great emphasis on Jesus' role as the Son of God. As I played outside, I was thinking about the Son of God part of the story. What did this mean exactly? I had never known a living father because he had died during my mother's pregnancy with me. I didn't have any felt sense of what it might feel like to have a father. Suddenly, I found myself wondering if I too was a son of God. It seemed that if Jesus could be the Son of God, maybe I could be too. This thought sent a thrill through me, a wave of exhilarating feelings I can remember as vividly as if it happened a minute ago. I looked up through the branches of the trees into the blue sky shimmering in the tropical air. Is this where my Father lives? Is that where I come from? Then a special kind of awareness settled into me, a sure knowledge that seemed so obvious, I wondered why I hadn't thought of it before. I am made of the same stuff as everything else. The trees, the sky, the earth beneath me, we're all made of the same thing, and it is all one thing. Everything is connected to everything. I am the Son of God, and everyone else is too. It has to be that way, because everything is connected and everything is equal. I remember lying on my back looking up through the trees for a long time. A feeling of deep peace and contentment settled into me. The feeling continued for hours, even after I tried to describe my experience at dinner and got a few blank stares like, "What the heck are you talking about?" Somehow it didn't matter whether people understood, because I knew what I felt, and I felt what I knew. Later in life, I came across a stunning passage from the Meditations of Marcus Aurelius, and he goes on to quote the same quote that I just opened with. He goes on to say, a Roman emperor would seem to have little in common with a kid in a sleepy southern town. Somehow, though, the same awareness showed up in both of us. Why and how could that be? After wondering about those questions for many years, I've now become convinced that we eventually become aware of our unity with the whole because it's inescapable. The awareness is hardwired into us because we're wired into the universe. We can try with all our might to pretend we're separated from the rest of the universe, but one way or the other, it will catch up to us and welcome us back into its embrace. That's a couple of pages from The Big Leap, Gay Hendricks. We are all part of the whole. This is why I said back in episode 14, I said, without religion, we're lost. Okay? We're kind of going down that road now, right? This is why without religion, we're lost. Without religion, we cannot connect with our cause of being. We cannot connect with who created us. That is our identity, brother. I mentioned in that episode that, you only know what you love. And if you don't know who you are, how can you love yourself? And in turn, how can you love others, right? That's who you are. You are a son of God. I am a son of God. We are sons and daughters. We are adopted sons and daughters of the Most High. And that's a hard thing for people to receive, right? That is a hard thing. Maybe they had a bad past experience with the church or with religion or, whatever. But it's still the truth, right? You cannot deny a truth, right? You cannot argue a truth. You can only deny it, right? And that is the truth. You are a son of God. I am a son of God. We are part of the whole. We are part of the universe. We are part of everything. God took from the earth. God took dirt, formed man, and breathed life into him. So, from dirt, from basically, what's the saying? Like ashes to ashes, dust to dust, right? From dirt we are made, and to the dirt we will return, right? So we're all part of the whole. And anyway, the reason why I share this with you is it reminded me of, the reading from the 23rd of January. So it was the third Sunday in Ordinary Time. The second reading, reminded me of the Big Leap and what he'd shared there about his story, and then how he shared a connection with Marcus Aurelius, had the same awareness, right? So God reveals all this to us. And so this is the second letter. Paul wrote a letter to the church at Corinth, and he said, "Brothers and sisters, as a body is one, though it has many parts, and all the parts of the body, though many, are one body, so also Christ. For in one Spirit we were all baptized into one body, whether Jews or Greeks, slaves or free persons. And we were all given to drink of one Spirit. Now the body is not a single part, but many. If a foot should say, 'Because I am not a hand, I do not belong to the body,' it does not for this reason belong any less to the body. Or if an ear should say, 'Because I am not an eye, I do not belong to the body,' it does not for this reason belong any less to the body. If the whole body were an eye, where would the hearing be? If the whole body were hearing, where would the sense of smell be? But as it is, God placed the parts, each one of them, in the body as he intended. If they were all one part, where would the body be? But as it is, there are many parts, yet one body. The eye cannot say to the hand, 'I do not need you,' nor can the head to the feet, 'I do not need you.' Indeed, the parts of the body that seem to be weaker are all the more necessary. And the parts of the body that we consider less honorable, we surround with greater honor. And our less presentable parts are treated with great propriety. Whereas our more presentable parts do not need this. But God has so constructed the body as to give greater honor to a part that is without it, so that there may be no division in the body, but that the parts may have the same concern of one another. If one part suffers, all the parts suffer with it. If one part is honored, all the parts share in its joy. Now you are Christ's body, and individually parts of it. Some people God has designated in the church to be first apostles, second prophets, third teachers, then mighty deeds, then gifts of healing, assistance, administration, and a variety of tongues. Are all apostles? Are all prophets? Are all teachers? Do all work mighty deeds? Do all have gifts of healing? Do all speak in different tongues? Do all interpret? Right? And he kind of goes on there. But it really stood out to me when he's talking about the whole, right? And so it's interesting because many people, me included, we use that phrase a lot. I am not so ... right? I am not smart, so ... fill in the blank. I'm not, I'm not a man, so I can't be a part of this thing, or I'm not a woman, so I can't do these things, right? Like we begin to pit these things against each other when we're still all part of the whole, right? Like I get these comments from time to time, like in like either responses to like email or whatever. They're like, I know I'm not a man, but this is I like kettlebell training too, or I like to train for strength too. Like I know, like because a lot of our messaging, with our online and whatnot, is focused to help men, because I just feel a call to help guys become better men, because I feel that that's something that's really lacking today. Men are weak. Men live in fear. Men live lives of indecisiveness and lives of avoidance. And our families are suffering for it, right? So I've felt this call to help men to become better, stronger, and the best version of themselves, so they can have a greater impact on their family, But I tend to get many responses from email or comments when I was on Facebook. Well, I know I'm not a man, but this is really good. Or I know I'm not a man, but just know that there are strong women out here too. It's like, I'm not like excluding you. I need to focus on like what he said. The focus on the least, the part that needs the most attention. The part that needs the most attention, right? And so he says, God always brings attention. So bringing attention to the lowly, right? To give more love and attention to those who need it most. Not saying that women don't need love and attention, but men are really failing here, right? Men are really failing. Christ also said, I go after the one and leave the 99 behind, right? Which kind of goes against what, I don't know, motivational speakers or gurus, kind of talk about today, right? Cut your losses. Like, that's just dead weight. Like, focus on the people that really want it. When, to a certain extent, that's true. But Christ said, I go after the one and leave the 99 behind. Women have tons of support groups, all kinds of support and things like that for women, which is great. They need it. But men are getting left behind. And we're getting weaker by the day, by the years, and we're becoming divided, right? And so that's just something I wanted to share with you today. Bringing attention to the parts that need it the most, right? And that we are all part of the whole. God placed all of our parts in our body as he intended. right? We all have our own unique desires. I talked about this in episode 17. We all have our own unique desires, right? God put them there. We're all different, yet still part of the whole. We are not the same, but yet still part of the whole, right? So that's what I want to share with you today, man. Today, actually, you know what? There's one other thing here. Yeah, it's just to reiterate, God is calling us to give greater honor to the parts that's without the honor, right? So that way there'll be no division. Parts may have, everything has the same. Every part has the same concern, right? But if one part suffers, all the parts suffer. That's what he said in that reading. So if men are suffering, the whole family falls apart, and it all starts with man. It all starts with dad, right? And if one part is honored, all the parts share in that. And so just wanted to share that with you. Thought it was interesting. I saw several parallels from several different things that I was reading. So today, first day after Max's technical day, which are also part of the whole. These technical days that I've been mixing in. So I've been doing 3 straight days of training, deadlift, and then a technical day. Right. So these technical days too are part of the whole. Right? They have a major impact on your training and on my training, right? So these technical days improve skill set, right? They boost recovery. And more importantly, in the context of this series, they carry over to the deadlift because, again, they too are part of the whole. And I remember what I was going to share with you at the end of yesterday's episode. I couldn't think of it, but as soon as I got off, it popped into my head. Over the last 30 days, so in 30 days of deadlifting, right, yesterday's episode finished off with a new sort of max. And I forgot to mention, I'm down like 13 pounds since starting the deadlift series. Started really just dialing in my eating habits, nutrition, started getting my targets down. And so I was able to maintain strength and obviously build strength, added 50 kilos in 30 days while dropping 12 pounds and still pulling big weights today. As a drill. Like, so I'm training the hook grip, which is like learning a whole new language, like I mentioned, and it really sucks because I got little virgin thumbs. But yeah, man, down 13 pounds so far, and still pulling big weights. So traditionally, you see, I'm going to have to monitor that, see how well that as that carries on. Physics are physics. As you lose weight, you can tend to lose strength. And maybe it's not so much losing strength, but more of your body weight in relation to the weight that you're moving, right? Good friend of mine, training partner, Jimmy Lugo, beast of a guy. Played college ball at Texas A&M Kingsville, and the guy's just a freak. And he said something that's just always stuck with me. He says, brother, weight moves weight. Weight moves weight. Right? So the bigger you are, more than likely the more weight you're going to lift. Right? That's just kind of how it works. But in relation to your body weight, that would be a little different, right? Like you see some of these guys pulling monster weights, like Eddie Hall pulling, like 500 kilos, and then you had Hafthor pulling 501 kilos. But these guys are like 400 pounds, so they're barely deadlifting double body weight, but they're pulling a lot more weight than pretty much anybody. One guy to be on the lookout for is Jamal Browner. I really like this guy's pulling style. He pulls sumo. He actually pulled 5. Let me see here. He pulled 1,065 just a couple days ago at like 240, 250 pounds body weight. That, I mean, he's creeping up on 5 times body weight deadlift, right? Without a suit. I think all he does is use a belt. He wears a belt and he pulls hook grip, which is insane. And that was kind of my focus for today, was the hook grip, right? Mostly with the light weights, building up my volume. I think the way that I'm going to train the hook grip is on my off days. And when I say off days, I'm talking like these technical days like today. I'm going to pull the hook grip on those lighter weights. And I can't handle volume yet with the heavy weights. Like my best pull at hook grip right now is 200 kilos, so 440. And I can hit a single, but repping volume, I'm not there yet. Like I've just started training hook like a week ago or so. And so I'll be using the hook in those lighter weights, maybe pull, like if I've got 200 kilos, on the books to pull, and let's say I got a set of 3, I'll pull the first one hook, then I'll put the cheater straps on, and I'll knock out the last 2 reps. But yeah, man, so far everything is great. I'm going to be continuing deadlifting daily. That's what this new series is going to transition to. And I don't know. We'll see how it turns out. Deadlift Daily may just be a mantra. We'll see how this turns out long term. I may end up having to pivot to, not deadlifting every day, maybe switching to like a 5-day per week type deal. I'm not sure yet. I'm just like, I'm having that. I have that on my notes, right? Because here's the thing. When I went through that 30 days of deadlifting, it wasn't my true maximum. It was my estimated max, but because strength is sticky. I'll get more into this. Strength is sticky, right? Specifically with the deadlift. And, my body was able to adapt really quick, which I think was a big reason why I jumped, 50 pounds, 23 kilos, But now that I'm getting to those bigger weights, right, this was one of my challenges is I was, as my deadlift was growing back in 2018 when I pulled 640, man, my average weights that I was pulling was no less than 230. So that's 505, 507 pounds. For reps, right? I mean, that will really fry you out. So I'm going to have to be very mindful and just very strategic as my numbers increase in terms of like the weights that I'm pulling. I may have to make some adjustments in that because jiu-jitsu is still my number one focus, and I don't want this to take away from that. And I'm feeling a little tired when I get on the mats from time to time. Since I've been deadlifting every day, I still feel great. Back feels great. Like everything feels really good. But I can just see down the road as the weights increase, I can see that potentially being an issue. So that's it, man. Part of the whole. You are part of the whole. Even our strength training, everything we do is part of the whole. Serves the greater good, right? So that's it, man. Appreciate you watching. See you tomorrow. Peace.